Today we're going to look at asynchronous and synchronous online strategies. Communication is so important in any classroom setting, but in an online setting it can be difficult, and so some strategies can help out. To help us understand asynchronous and synchronous strategies, we're going to look at this graphic here. We are normally used to the same time, same place classroom environment, where we can see verbal cues, where we understand sarcasm, where information can be easily transferred from instructor to student, student to student, and student to instructor. This often can be very difficult in an online setting. We're going to focus on a same time, different place, and a different time, different place in an online setting. First, we're going to look at those asynchronous activities, the different time and in a different place. Oftentimes in these settings, discussion boards are going to be huge for the activities that take place in that online setting. It allows for instructors and for students to give feedback and to give information, to show understanding, and that's going to be a important piece. But these other pieces can be just as important. Obviously, you're going to be using the normal Word documents that you would normally use to provide instruction, to give requirements and criteria for different assignments. Presentations can still be used in an online environment, hopefully with your voice that shows and talks them through the material, utilizing graphics and pictures from your content area. Video is an excellent component that can help your students understand and see and hear voices and see instruction all at the same time. Podcasting or using audio files can also be very, very useful, where on their own time or in their car they can be listening to lectures or listening to information that you've provided for them. Email is going to be the centerpiece for communication with individual students. You can use discussion boards, but oftentimes for personal information or personal things that are happening during your course, email or maybe a messenger that's offered through Joule will help you in that communication. Joule is going to be the host of all of the content in your asynchronous course, most likely in some linear fashion where students go from one piece of the course into the next piece, into the next piece, and they will capture the entire idea of the objectives of the course through Joule. Again, discussion boards can be used, and there are a variety of ways that you can utilize a discussion board in your classroom, and be thinking of different ways that you can involve your students in discussion boards other than reading some material and just responding to it and then responding to other students. But think creatively of how you can utilize the discussion boards to capture content from your students. Finally, collaborative documents is going to be a very great way for students to collaborate together on the information, to share ideas, and to give feedback to each other while going through the course. This offers the different time, different place, but the content is all in the central area where they can work on it together, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the module. Now looking at synchronous activities, these are activities that happen in a different place but at the same time, and it doesn't offer the flexibility that is sometimes needed in an online environment, but can be very useful in making connections and fostering community. Chatting is a synchronous activity where students are chatting together or chatting with you. Oftentimes the fastest typer here wins. Voice can be very beneficial, just like talking on the telephone is beneficial, but getting everyone's voices involved together through a voice IP, voice thread kind of idea is a synchronous activity. Web conferencing is very, very elaborate and very, very easy. You may have heard of Skype, maybe Google Hangout. All of that will be using different video conferencing tools that will help you connect with your students. You'll oftentimes use a chalkboard or whiteboard in your classroom. This is still something that's a possibility online, where you can work through a problem or work through information using a whiteboard. Web conferencing is a lot like video conferencing, something like a webinar that you've seen online, using real-time collaborative documents. And then finally, it's very difficult, but virtual worlds is a possibility.